And we are live. Welcome, everyone. At this
Hi.
episode number 11, ChatGDG, we do with two fantastic guests. We've got Arianna and Claudia. I don't know why I said your name like in an English way, but that's fine. So I'm really proud because those two are really good friends of mine. So I'm really, really proud to have them on the show and very inspirational people. So no, I need to introduce them properly. Sorry. So, Claudia, she's the founder at Floxies Community. She's also left because
Yes,
probably she got offended that I have anything. No, I'm kidding. That's
you should have said like Claudia. That's why.
Claudia. Yeah,
You
that's
pronounced
why. No,
Ariana, but you didn't pronounce
Ar-
Claudia. So
Ariana and Claudia. No,
now she's
Arianna
offended.
and Claudia. So, Claudia, I'm sure that she will back very soon. But let's introduce Arianna first. Sorry, Claudia, you missed your window. So now, we are about to introduce
Not a
We were
Arianna.
problem.
expecting we were
My
expecting something like that from me, actually, not from you. Yeah, but
Right, exactly.
I think the StreamYard got a little bit too it was too much, so many amazing people all at once. It just
Yeah.
exploded.
What can we do? So Arianna, she's the operation manager at Dude, an event organizers and a proud member of GDG Cloud London since like 4 years. Whilst
nine,
Claudia, she's the founder at Floxies Community, also the community manager at NoCodeOps, and a women tech maker ambassadors. So very busy people here. Without further ado, I would like to give you the stage and maybe to talk us about a little bit about your journey in tech or your journey in the career in general. Who wants to start?
Claudia, obviously.
Claudia, obviously. Okay, Claudia, off you
I'm
go.
okay. I'm okay
Yeah.
to sacrifice, go first. I was trying to join the chat to see how many people we have in the audience, and I just wanted to say hi. But yeah, just a little bit about me, just like Stefano was saying. First off, Stefano, thank you so much for having us here. It's a pleasure, and I'm so impressed with what you've done. I can't believe this is already the 11th episode of ChatGDG. And I think I posted it on LinkedIn. I think is one of the most clever names that I've seen out there this year. So
Cheers.
yeah, fantastic.
Appreciate
Such a
that.
pleasure to be here. Just like what you were saying, yes, I'm Claudia. I'm the founder at Floxies Community, a community for women in UX UI design and Webflow development. And I also work full-time as a community manager at NoCodeOps, another international community, but this time for operational professionals. And what that means, people like Arianna working in operational roles, but leveraging no-code tools to scale up their career. And so, yeah, a little bit about my journey. I used to be a primary school teacher before joining the tech space. So I've been working as a primary school teaching assistant for about 8 years. And then during the pandemic, things got a little bit hard and a little bit frustrating for us teachers. I'm based in London, in the UK. And so, we were always on the front line, working throughout, the lockdowns and all that for key workers. It was really, really intense. Maybe that's the right word for it. And I guess just like everyone else, back then I had a moment where I stopped and thought to myself, okay, what is it that I want to get from my life? Is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? I've always been quite a creative individual, but I never had the chance to explore that creativity growing up. Not too much, not professionally at least. And so I started looking for career or jobs that people were doing, because everyone else around me, all my circle of friends, were working from home except for me. I was like, what do you do? Like, how can I work from home as well? And so I came across this role of a UX UI designer, and I immediately fell in love with this position because it was very creative, kind of artistic as well, still people-centered, so like very similar to what I was doing at school. And in tech, which is something that I loved and I never had the chance to explore. And so I started studying by myself, kind of self-taught path. And so I've looked for the usual courses on Udemy, Coursera, those kind of websites. And I would say that's how my journey started. And then, yeah, it's a long story, but I ended up creating Floxies because I was looking for mentorships opportunities, and I noticed that even the design space, just like everything else around us, is very men driven and men dominated as a field. And so I was wondering, I'm sure that the same way that I was looking for a similar way to get into the space, there might have been other women that were trying to achieve a similar career switch. And so, yeah, that's when I just posted on a social media platform. I can't remember. I think it was LinkedIn, but I might be wrong. I just put a message out there. Are there any other women that would like to study design with me? And from that single message, I got 70 replies very quickly in a very short amount of time. Wow. And so that made me realize that there was a huge need for I guess, a community like Floxies. I didn't even know that Floxies would have turned into a community. For me, it was just a study group, where we, like, I'm Claudia, I'm a teacher, I want to become a designer, let's do it together. And then obviously people started calling it community and calling me a community manager. I guess I just didn't have, the title coming up here under my name, just like today. So that was a beautiful, beautiful experience. Obviously, yes, Floxies is now an amazing community. There's over 1,400 women in the space. I use Discord as a platform. I design my communities. So even both Floxies and NoCodeOps have been designed by me. And what I mean by that is that I take a lot of pride in how well structured the server looks. And feels, because I'm always thinking about, people-centered approach and user experience. So how do I make this community experience an amazing experience to my members? And so I take a lot of pride on how I design those spaces. And sometimes I call myself community designer rather than community builder or, community manager. But anyway, I'm sure you'll have more questions. I don't want to take too much space here, and I'd love to send the mic to Arianna.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for the intro. Yes, I've got a million questions, but of course I would like to to give Arianna the space now. So tell us more about yourself.
Yes, more about myself. As you said, I'm actually working for GDG London, which is like a creative agency based in London. We are a global company working to create advertising, brand launching for different brands globally. And actually today is my first year, is the anniversary of my first year at GDG. So yeah.
Really? I mean, today?
Today, yes. So
that's impressive.
So yeah, and how I love to say 1 year and still not fired.
Wow, that's even more impressive.
Exactly. I actually been a producer in the last 13 years. I was working as a freelancer, was organizing events, music festival, working in fashion for the shooting and photography, which I really, really enjoyed. But quite same as happened to Claudia during the COVID, but same but opposite somehow. During the COVID, I was forced to stay home, and all the productions and all the work I was involved in stopped. So I had to find another way of living, let's say. So I started to translate some books from different publishing houses, and that's how went my COVID year then. But the good thing was that just a couple of months before COVID, I think, I joined the GDG Cloud London community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2019 actually. And at the time, I had no clue what was GDG Cloud London. I had no clue what was behind this word, which is like tech word. And I was a completely outsider. But to be honest, that was one of the best things happened in my life and thank you, Stefano, because
Hey,
because
well
of
done.
you introduced me there. And not just because I discovered a new world, which is super interesting, but also get in contact with so many inspiring and amazing people, which I would never actually had the chance to meet otherwise. And it was also a good way to keep my mental health busy
Yeah, yeah,
and and in good conditions, because like we created a group, which is I'm pretty proud to call a family, let's say.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So it was supportive, independently that we were talking about tech, which, as we said, is not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But it was like creating a support community, friendship, and giving opportunity to people to just spread their voices out. That was pretty interesting, from a point of view of a person who always been organizing events, but somehow never took part in them.
Yeah, being on the other side of the fence for
Exactly.
once, right?
And be on the other side of a camera as well sometimes. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting, and it still keeps me very excited to participate every time the community calls. So it's still a great adventure.
Yeah, nice one. Exactly what you said. Like this kind of community are really inclusive, which means you don't have necessarily to be in this field. You don't have necessarily to be technical. I was a little bit scared when I first joined because the Google group. I need to take a test? So what do I need to do? Right? It's much like easier, much more easygoing than that. Because the most
Absolutely.
important thing is to people at ease, and when you put people at ease, then it's much easier to do things, smoothly with a really good vibe and really good energy.
Yeah, I never felt like an underdog. I never felt like left behind because I didn't know what they were talking about, which happens sometimes. But it's also nice to see the process of very skilled people
Mm.
are so happy to explain to people like me in finding an easy way for me to understand, to like we've been talking a lot about AI in the last
Yeah,
couple of
a lot.
months.
Mm.
And I can say, I think I can say that now I got more and more, I'm getting more and more into that.
Okay.
Obviously I'm not becoming an hacker, but it's very interesting to discover if you're I'm a curious person, and if you're curious enough, you will understand whatever you will need to understand. And it's so nice that people who are super skilled in those kind of fields, they're supporting me in the perfect way, actually, without let me feel yeah, like a complete idiot. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
there
if
was
I
Okay,
if
that's
I can if I can add my 2 cents here, because I've attended a couple of the GDG
mhm.
cloud meetups as well and events, and Ariana is making a really great point there. Because what I've noticed is that it's true, they always make you feel at ease, whether you're a technical or a non-technical person, and I've noticed that they really focus on the personal development first rather than the professional development of an individual. And so that's been really crucial to the way, I approach communities as well. And, GDG Cloud feels like a community. Community can start from 2 people or 3 people here.
Yep,
Like there's 3 of
exactly.
us here. We can be a community. It's the core values that make people feel seen, relevant, and we live at an age where all the pieces are out there, right? If you think of yourself like little puzzles, right? We might have some
Yep.
missing pieces, but the pieces are out there. We're very fortunate, and so sometimes you just need to have somebody just seeing that piece that you've been missing for the longest time, and just handing it over to you to complete the picture. That is the first time I do that analogy. I'm very, yeah. You're inspiring me, Stefano and Arianna, with your with your talks. But it's
Okay, nice.
beautiful. It's beautiful to be here.
Nice one. Cheers. I appreciate that. I've got a question for you, actually. So, you, we can say that you, Claudia, you are currently running two communities, the Floxy, which is
Correct.
your baby, right? Something that you founded, something that clearly you are super proud of, and rightfully so, because it's an amazing community. And the other one is NoCodeOps, right? So, question, what's the difference in running something for work and something for passion? I'm not saying that you are not passionate. Clearly, I know you. I know the amount of energy and passion that you put on things. So that is out of the question. But is there a difference between the two?
Because both of them are communities and I've been growing them like almost simultaneously. Whatever I was learning from my experience building Floxies, I then used to build NoCodeOps, and whatever I'm learning as a professional community manager now, is a little bit vice versa. So
Yep.
it's like I always talk. I make jokes because I'm a one-person team right now in the company, and so I always make jokes about, I'm just gonna ask Claudia from, I don't know, social media about this tip before I do anything. I do work from home now, as I just have myself to talk to, as well as all the community people out there. But no, I wouldn't say they're too different. Obviously, when you're working professionally at a community like NoCodeOps, that's my priority. I have to finish up all my tasks before I can start working at, Floxies. But I don't necessarily look at them as, maybe tasks or things to do. It's my passion to be there, whether it's being paid or not paid. I'm maybe saying something controversial here, but I love it. And so Floxies kind of runs on its own, which is beautiful, and that's a good sign of a really healthy community. And the same thing happened,
It's a
when I
sign
was
that you've
away.
done a really good job.
Yeah, and I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky because the girls that I have at Floxies are also very passionate about our space. And so if I'm not there, they take over and they take ownership of our initiatives. We have ambassadors. And so that's a beautiful sign of a healthy community that doesn't need necessarily a leader to prompt conversations or, get anything started. And NoCodeOps is getting to that level as well. So
Nice.
I was away. Obviously, as you know, I'm Italian, so we love our summer. Most of the people at NoCodeOps are from the US, and they don't do summer as much as we do. And so I was like, okay, guys, just to let you know, I'm off for 2 weeks. Enjoy my summer. And I noticed, obviously, that's not true because I'm turning into that kind of mindset as well a little bit. So the first week I was off, but I wasn't really off because I was looking into the community. I was like, let me check on them. Let me check quickly. And I could see that things were rolling, nothing stopped. And to me, that's a really, really great sign. And so, going back to your point, is there much of a difference? The audience is definitely different because I started NoCodeOps from scratch, and all of a sudden, a good 80% of the community is male, identifying as a male. And so that was a community that I started, but just naturally more male professionals were, inclined to join. I don't know, which gave me a lot of validation for Floxies, for Floxies to exist. Because I didn't do anything different, but maybe just because it's more of a technical community based on, more professional technicalities and no-code technologies and all that, the audience straight away was, the majority wasn't a female kind of audience. And I'm trying to, by being the community leader there, I'm trying to set myself up as a no-code role model as well so that I can attract more women.
Really good point, because I wonder how many out of this pool of people that consider themselves, that's not for me, that's too technical for me. They do that because that is an assumption, right? So the work that you are doing is to try to bridge this gap,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because well, there's a study, that shows that it was a study where over 4,000 people, this is from the Independent, and I know this just because tomorrow I have another talk, and so
Okay.
I've done my work. But there's a research from the Independent that shows that over 4,000 people, 53% of them who were women experienced imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And so, whereas on the same study, over a half of them, so 54% of them who were men, said that they never experienced imposter syndrome at all, completely, never, ever. So 53% women,
Wow.
yes, that happened to me. 54% of men, never happened to me. And that is really interesting to see because, as you were saying, maybe it's just us not feeling good enough or ready to join a professional group because we feel judged, or we feel like I'm gonna ask a stupid question. And I can tell you from the experience that I've had with the community that is something that happens in our brains. And I can also tell you that managing the community at NoCodeOps, it's such a supportive space, and there are people there, male, identifying as a male, that are also telling me, like, I'm not sure about this topic. I don't know this very well. I'm trying to do this to overcome this lack of knowledge that I have in this area. So they're actively looking for a way. They're not telling you like, oh, I'm scared, I'm not sure how to do it. They're like, yes, I don't know how to do this. That's why I'm studying ABC, or that's why I'm reaching out to you. Maybe you have a resource that I can use. So it's a very different mental approach to things. And that's, as you were saying, I'm trying to bridge the two and facilitate that conversation.
Nice one. Very, very impressive. Ari, getting back to you. So I know that you joined, as you said, Dude as a producer. No, was not a producer. Sorry, was a
No, I actually joined Toot as an account manager.
account manager. Yes, my bad. And now you moved. You changed role. Now you are the
Yeah.
operations manager.
Now I'm the operations
Can you
manager.
tell us what's the difference? Because maybe those are roles that maybe we are not that familiar with. So it would be really interesting to get to know more.
Yeah, actually, I joined the company. Let's say something before.
Yes.
First,
Mhm.
Dude is more than a company. It's kind of a philosophy. So when I got hired, they hired me because of my experience, but obviously I didn't have any specific experience as an account manager.
Mm.
But most of the time is the more than the technical skill you have is the attitude you have.
Yep.
And that's, for me, it's pretty important to specify this. I'm not sure it works only at Dude. I'm pretty sure that a good attitude, a good curiosity, always helps
Mm-mm-mm.
in any field. And yes, I mean, we're not talking about rocket science, obviously, but yeah. So most of the times, it's even because when I joined the company, actually I had almost no clue of what an account manager was, coming from my previous
The
experience
background.
as a producer. It was a bet for me and for the company as well, just to try to learn a new role, which was super cool, was super nice, because being an account manager in a creative agency means that you're the bridge in between the creativity team, the creative team, and the client. So it was pretty interesting seeing how the creative development of a project was going on, and also like presenting it to the client and listen to both parts, which are the different face of the same coin, let's say.
Sorry to interrupt you, but can we tell who these clients are? Because if we put that into context, I think that would be, if we,
Yeah,
I don't know.
first of all, I
Is there an
invite
NDA?
all of you. No, I invite all of you to check Dude website. You will discover we do have different levels and companies.
Mm,
Let's say Dude starts in Milan in 2008 as a creative agency and then a production company as well. Sorry, a production house. Then in 2017, just before the COVID, actually, they decided to open an office in London to get more global. Yeah, the clients that you want me to mention.
no, if you can,
No, no, they're absolutely,
something
absolutely.
that already happened. So,
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
want to show off, but yeah, we do have like Netflix,
o-
Spotify,
okay, right?
for all the nerds over there. We did launch Diablo 4 in
See what I
Spain.
mean? It's important to say these things, because if that the creative part of those kind of, events or campaigns. So
Yes, yes,
Diablo
yes.
4. Oh my god. Ah,
I knew you wanted me to let to tell
exactly.
that. So yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I cannot lie. We do super cool stuff.
Come on.
We do have an amazing creative team, and to be honest, it's always a pleasure to go to the office and get in contact with such explosion of creativity every
Yeah.
day. Um, After a couple of months, and especially after a day in production that we had with Campari, um, somehow my skills and experience as a producer came out
Interesting.
and stands out from the account managing.
Yeah.
Let's say that like my bosses just realized that there was also some other spaces for me in the company.
Who
And
would have thought that only 13 years of experience, you know?
yeah, but I'm still not a producer.
Yeah, I know, but that's
No,
not important.
so then yeah, I joined let's say more the business area
Mm,
and this business team. So I joined this new role as an operations manager, which it's actually spread in different areas, which goes from people and HR, new businesses,
oh
uh,
wow, okay.
a bit of finance, a bit of taking care of the office. So it's yeah, it's a very
Wow,
open role, let's say.
you really spread
Uh,
thin, I think.
yes, but it's also super exciting because for sure I don't get bored because every
Oh
day
wow.
are different things coming out. I'm still learning. I'm 42 and I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I
Always.
learned as an account
Mm.
manager. I'm learning as an operation manager, and I'm sure I will learn every day more and more. Uh, that's what I do for now. Let's see what the future will bring.
That's pretty impressive, and I can
She's such
totally,
an inspiration, like
yeah.
such an inspiration, because she comes with all this experience, and she's like one great example of a is never too late to join the tech space. It can come from all different from all sorts of directions. Like it could come as a community manager for me, it could come as an operations manager, as in for Arianna. And it's just fantastic to see that out of all the experiences, just like what you were saying, Stefano, like 13 years of experience, we're able to pick those skills and kind of like, okay, mash them up again and turn them into a different type of creation that's going to be useful for a different role. And it's beautiful because, I don't know, we were more or less, from the same kind of age. And so back then when we grew up, I don't know about you guys, but I never felt like people could change their career. Like I always thought, okay,
Wow,
when I'm
yeah,
an adult, I want
of
to
course.
be I want to be an astronaut. I want to be, well, me personally, I wanted to be different things every month, but I
Like
still
what?
do that
And this thing
sometimes.
is still going on. Like,
Okay. Never
I
changed. Nice.
still do that sometimes, but it was never in the widespread mindset that people could change,
That's
their
true.
career in their 30th or
Yep.
40th. So,
And there are quite a few reasons why, right? If you are a doctor, you still need to do like 5 years of 6 years of, university. So maybe when you are in your 40s, you know what I mean? You want to see you want to harvest something, you know what I mean? Whilst joining tech, at least as it for now, you can really do that by attending a boot camp. Clearly, you are not a professional after 3 months. Let's make this
oh,
pretty clear. You are not joining a 3 months boot camp. You are a genius. You are not. But you've got that baseline that then you can, keep working on that, and then hopefully find an apprenticeships, which can be very, very valuable, maybe 12 to 18 months, and that it will get you to a fully fledged software engineer role, junior role. So it is doable. It is doable. That's what is
yes.
important. And your point is very valuable. I don't know how many people in the 70s, 80s, 90s, like in the previous century, wasn't that common. You know what I mean? As soon as you join a career path, chances are that you would be stuck with it.
Yeah, but that's what I would like to send as a message.
Mm?
Like, if you're 30, if you're 40, if you're 20, if you're 25, if they're asking you what would you like to be in in the future, and you have no idea, don't be scared. It's not a shame.
Yeah,
It's just your moment needs to come. And just again,
exactly.
the word I use the most is like, be curious, because you will never know what will happen to you, just like opening a very small window or a huge gate.
Yeah,
But it would be something like, if you're scared of just jumping into something that you don't know, it's very hard that good stuff will comes to you, or
yeah,
this
exactly.
stuff will
Yeah,
comes to you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So as a person, and I'm, again, as a person who never have joined a tech community, or never even I never even thought about, like, one day
Mm,
I could help in organizing event for GDG Cloud London, um, even getting contact with so many different amazing people that we had the chance to meet during all the summit we've been
yeah,
on. So uh, if I if I if I started back in the year saying, like, no, you know what, I'm scared because I don't have a clue of what these people are
exactly.
doing, I have never reached this point today, which is still a starting point. Every day is a starting
Yeah,
point, but is a starting point from a different step. So
exactly. When you will
it's
look back, you would see that you actually, your trajectory with this one was not flat.
exactly,
It's
exactly.
very important.
Better make the effort on going upwards than staying flat.
Absolutely, 1000. But worst case, scenario, people say no.
Yeah,
You know
exactly,
what I mean? People won't beat you up. I promise. They will say you no. That's fair enough.
exactly.
anyway, just never ask. You were saying, don't, ask 40, 30, 20-year-old. Don't ask the 10-year-olds what they want to be when they grow up, because they will tell you they want to be a TikToker, and that's a whole different story.
Okay. I want to. Yeah. Wow.
They will
Oh my
change their
God.
mind.
I
That.
remember those days at school. So what would you like to be? Oh, I want to be a YouTuber.
Oh my God. I hadn't thought about that. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's change topic, right? No, let's talk about something super interesting for both of you, because I know that both of you, right now, so in the past year and whatnot, you've been traveling quite a lot, right? Both of you for work and conferences and stuff.
Yes.
So, what's the deal there? How much your life changed under this point of view?
Claudia, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm super scared of flying, and I had a lot of that.
I know.
And so my life has changed in a sense that I have to face my fears. That's it. No, but jokes aside, yes, I've had some incredible opportunities. I was a speaker during last year Webflow Conf in San Francisco. I was talking about the power of communities, as well as being nominated for one of the awards as a community leader of the year, which was absolutely fantastic and absolutely blew my mind away. But it was one of the most amazing experiences. And then yes, the company where I work is based in Atlanta, Georgia, so I have to go there to the office every now and then, which I absolutely love as well. It's my third home. So yeah, lots of traveling. I'm going to Paris next month for the NoCode Summit that's happening. Yes. So lots of conferences that, as well as helping you grow and helping you network with amazing professionals from all over the world, also obviously help you travel in a little bit more and explore the world, which is another one of my goals that I had set in my life. I just want to see the world a little bit more.
And I think this is a great excuse, oh, there is a conference there. And
it's a great way to do it. Yes,
100%. As usual, it's quite opposite from Claudia. Black and white.
Okay.
But yeah, so I used to travel a lot when I was a producer. I was traveling maybe too much, let's say. So every week it was like a trip somewhere for a photo shooting or doing.
So you were traveling on a weekly basis?
Yeah, kind of. Oof, yeah. So it was
tough.
but I had the chance to see many amazing places. And especially when I was working as a fashion photo shooting producer, well, obviously luxury is the word. So shooting in super nice
and I mean expensive, I guess.
Locations.
Location.
Yeah, also, but I didn't pay for that. That's fine.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And so I was traveling a lot. That was a good way to discover new locations in the world. But it would, to be honest, it was also a bit tiring at certain point. Waking up and didn't know where you are was a bit confusing. Today I travel less for work, but I'm trying to travel more for leisure.
Right.
I usually make this joke that said like, no, I travel a lot. I travel every day from Southeast London to London. It takes me like 1 hour and a half to get
That's
to
your commute.
office. But yeah, commuting doesn't count as a travel, I think.
Nah,
otherwise, I'm a very huge traveler.
Well, you do get a travel card, so I think it counts a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough then. Speaking about travels and summits and conferences, we have to mention Amsterdam. Once again, I've done this with like other guests, but I don't care. That conference was amazing. Sorry, Claudia, you missed that.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, what did I do in Amsterdam? I can't remember. That's probably because I was in Amsterdam, but no.
Yeah, not unfortunately,
not that type of trip. Okay.
That one. Yeah, my opinion was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Let's say 2 days, but 2.5 days of amazing meetings, opportunities to meet people super skilled, but also from my personal and professional point of view, the organization that stands behind that event was a blast. Was everything
flawless? Flawless.
Yes,
it was unbelievable.
Everything was so perfectly organized, and everything was lots of food, amazing talks. People were super friendly. You can even the vibes were amazing. I know when you go to Amsterdam, most of the times the vibes are amazing,
You are
but
on
they
the
weren't
happy side of things, okay?
not that busy, just amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, let's say, yeah, I think I can tell the best event from Google so far. I've
For
been.
from my point of view, is like, hands down, and it was so perfectly organized that the weather complied. The
Yes,
weather during the day of conference was probably the best weather that Amsterdam would have seen in I don't know how many
you
times.
got
Blue
burned.
sky. I got completely, yes, like red, like a lobster.
But just to
Eh,
give an idea of how well organized it was, there was also sunscreen protection
yes,
for people,
which I,
which
for some reason, I didn't
Which
use
is
because
suspicious. Which is suspicious. How did they know it was gonna be sunny? What is
uh,
Google working at?
yeah.
Mm. No, but that conf was really really super cool, and I have to say that we had the chance to interview a couple of people around,
Quite a few
and
actually. There was a lot of
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
A
more
lot
than
of
a
fun.
few, and the feedback was pretty always the same. This is a amazing event. We're having so much fun. The talks are pretty interesting. So I don't know. I think the average was like 90% of appreciation of like 99% of
Well,
appreciation
I
for the
think
event.
120% because I,
Yes,
I I even hear people saying quite a few actually that was better than the San
the
Francisco
San
one.
Francisco one.
So and that says something, eh? So I don't
Yes,
want I wasn't there, so I can't express my opinion, but this is what I've heard and was amazing. So
I have a question for you
yep,
both. So if you could pick three features that are extremely important for an event to be successful, what would they be?
nice,
okay.
very interesting question.
You
You
know,
you start, Arianna, because you've organized so many events in in your life. Oh, go for it.
um, okay, I hate you.
Yes.
Uh, that's why we're friends. Um, so I would say a good welcoming. That would be, like as we said, it's very important for the people who will attend to feel somehow welcome in the place they're coming, which is a compound of different stuff. That means like could be like just welcoming people with a smile, but also give them the right informations about
Yeah.
what they're going to see. The timings are pretty important. Like have a pretty detailed schedule can help a lot.
An agenda. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, an agenda. I would say, and it's not because I'm greedy, but I would say food is important as well. Not that you need to fill the stomach of the people, but that food is a nice moment for the people to get in contact somehow.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to an event which is like a conference of a watch party, independently if like everybody knows everybody there, or like if some people just know like a small group of other people there, if you want to create a moment where people will actually interact to each other, sometimes it happens while they're getting some food or some drink at the same table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, you will have like people sitting at first row and people sitting at the very final row. They will not interact because they're far away, because they don't know each other, because they're shy. So these two things will help a lot to create a good environment in terms of like emotional environment. And a third one, I would say, make it funny. People must have fun.
Exactly. there has to be a certain level of fun. Of course, some of these conferences are really more on the more serious side of things, which is absolutely fine. But a little bit, 10 minutes of fun,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really can help pretty much every audience, I would say.
good
yeah, but
tips.
you're feeling
Good
one of
tips.
mine.
Eh?
Yeah,
Uh,
so Stefano, that gave you plenty of time to think about what are your
well,
three.
yeah, clearly a few of those are, all overlapped with
Yeah,
what Arianna said. I've got the communication. Communication is so important. Having an agenda, absolutely, but also and especially communication when things go wrong. If
Mhm.
everything goes fine, yeah, the happy path. But what if one of the speaker is lost, or maybe there is a delay about the food is not coming? As we know, shit happens, which
yeah,
is fine. Is how do you deal with those things that really
Mm.
makes or breaks things? If
exactly.
you start quote unquote lying to people, not say lying, but maybe not saying all the truth, like, yeah, yeah, it is coming, and you really have no idea when that happened, that can backfire very easily. So communication, be honest. There is
Yeah,
really no point of lying, because then you will be proven wrong. Attention to details, that's, I think, is very important, because like something that really struck all of us from the Amsterdam event, besides the scale, besides all of the really good
yeah,
stuff, was the attention to details, these small details, really small things that when you, some of them you don't even realize they are there, and that is the level of how, how much care do the organizing team put there. So attention to details can really, make your event stand out. And also is a combination of the last point that you said. I think as an organizer you should at least try to create an excuse for people to get together, because
yeah,
the networking mingling part is really the part that you really get so much value from. So you as an organizer, you should facilitate those things, and then is of course up to the people. But I think that you should do the, yeah, you should lead the way, let's put it that way.
but you can tell now.
Cool.
You can tell Claudia why you asked us these
Yeah,
questions.
no. Now you can tell us your 3 points, right? So
No, I don't know. I'm just asking because yes, I'm organizing a bunch of events coming up next
yeah,
month, and so I wanted to get some, some tips from you
yeah,
guys
fair
because you
enough.
seem to have a lot of experience.
What are your challenges so far?
Well, securing a venue in London is the hardest and
Yeah,
most expensive thing to do.
I do agree.
It's crazy. And so yeah, I would say that's one of the challenges for
That's
sure. And then
that's why,
I
sorry to interrupt you, but that's why it's important to talk almost to every single person that will attend, because
Absolutely.
the net that you can create, the connection that you can create today is just like a name of a person on LinkedIn. Tomorrow could be like that same person that will tell you like, you know what, I got an office.
mhm.
If you want, we can just run the event over there for free, or just for credits. Or so that's why getting in touch with as many people as you can reach, it's so important, because like most of the time when it comes to organize events, um, is a matter of knowing lots of people, so
Yeah,
open different, you know.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think I knew enough, but clearly not.
It's never enough.
It's never enough. But that's a very good point. That networking is super important. But yeah, I have, I'm organizing a hangout for NoCodeOps because our CEO is going to be in town. Actually, there's another conference
Oh,
as well as
nice.
the Webflow Conf. There's the Operation Nations conference, which is all around operations. So maybe Arianna, maybe you might be interested in that one. And it's also happening on the week of the 16th of October,
Okay.
and for the whole week. And
Okay, nice.
yeah, it's a lot of events going on. So
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
She wants to steal our ideas, you know.
She want to see that.
It's called share knowledge, knowledge
Disclosure
sharing.
knowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
we
yeah,
actually
sure.
started saying we are supportive and inclusive and blah blah blah. So, yeah, we cannot keep our secrets actually.
Yeah. Just just can't. Oh my God, we are 50 minutes in. What? How did
Oh,
that happen?
Time
How did
flies.
that happen?
that's
Oh my
cool
God.
because I was a bit scared of like 1 hour. What we're gonna say?
We
Yeah,
we
nice,
we
nice.
haven't started yet. Like I want to speak for other like 70 hours.
Let's
We
squeeze
should
everything.
have we will have part 2, part 3, part 75 of this. But for the time being, for the last 10 minutes, what do you want to talk about? Let's pick a topic and just let's talk about that. Mhm.
I don't know, unless other unless people have questions. I'm not sure if you're interacting with
Um,
our audience.
yeah, no questions so far.
So that's a possibility. People that are or aren't
Mhm.
watching, if you want to drop a question in the chat, we have 9 minutes
Yeah,
to
9
answer your
minutes.
question. But what do we want to talk about? Let me think. Let me think. What's your no? I need to think of something that goes well for you both.
That's
Okay.
okay. That's okay. I'm kind of a
Well,
chameleon.
actually, I do have a topic because you said, Arianna, that you've been attending lots of AI events, and I know that Stefano, you've also been there. So, what do you, where do you see AI? I'm not gonna say in the future because that's still vague and
Mhm, mhm.
generic, but like think about big companies like Google, Microsoft, like the big deals, the OGs. What's how is going I don't know. Like I would probably like, what do you think AI will be implemented as in their companies?
It's a very good question. And also, I love having you on the show because it's easy. You are running it, and I'm right chill here. Is amazing. It's amazing. I love that. Thank you.
I will
AI. Yeah,
I will
yeah.
start
Start, start.
with a very short answer because
Hmm.
obviously there's a bit of lack of knowledge about that. But I I can see that, and it's very obvious, as a facilitator for those companies like even like mine. They are founded on creative minds, on let's say artistic fields or whatever. But there are some process um, which are somehow left behind just because they are process and they're
Yeah.
not involved in creativity and everything. So I think that some tools somehow the AI can cover and fill those gaps in these kind of companies who are less tech oriented, but they still have to go into
Mm.
some tech processes or um, yeah, I can see them as a facilitator. Yeah.
Yeah. Facilitation
So yeah,
tool. That makes sense, and that clearly that's already happened.
yeah,
We are not
exactly.
talking about what will be is already happening in this
Thank you,
very moment.
ChatGPT. Thank you.
Thank you, Chat GDG. Yes, thanks, Chat
GDG,
Thank
yes.
you,
GDG.
Chat GDG.
Yeah, and actually, so what the first thing that AI has done for this planet is just to, create Chat GPT and then Chat GDG. So this is the very first thing and the most important thing about
And
AI.
it's working pretty
And it's
fine, I would
working pretty fine. So besides that, no, I think the AI is, this very is a controversial topic in a way that, of course, can be really helpful. Like we are not just talking about facilitating things, but the um, implementations that can be done in healthcare, for example, like seriously to try to leverage that to try to diagnose like very disease like Alzheimer. So that is where we need to double down because that is the actual important things, right? Then of course
say. Yeah,
if the AI is going to help you to fill your calendar and whatnot, it's great,
that's
but
okay.
that is the a nice direction. On the other end though, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not saying that I'm scared, but I know if you realize and if you think that I don't know how many months that we are talking about that from the like it's less than a year or slash a year or something
Yeah.
like that. How many step forwards has this thing done is insane. So the speed at which these things is developing, that is slightly worrying because it's so fast that I don't think that there is at this moment no one on this planet who has it under control, if if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like everything on this planet, a tool can be used for the greater good, but can also be used for, let's say, even not great things. So AI is interesting, is the future. That's undeniably, but yeah, we should be a little bit careful about that because just I'm not talking about a Skynet kind of Terminator scenario, hopefully, but just by having your data, for example,
Yeah.
leaked somewhere and maybe being part of LLMs, you know what I mean, or some sensible data from companies. That's a big topic. Like some yeah. So it's complicated. It's fascinating, but it's also
Yes.
very very complicated, and it might be frightening a little bit.
If I
Yeah.
if I just go back 6 months ago,
Hmm.
maybe less than 6 months ago, talking to a colleague, I just told him like, "Did you see there is this new thing, ChatGPT,
Hmm.
that helps you doing this stuff?" And he was like staring at me and saying like, "Oh, these things, I'm scared. I don't know where they will bring us and blah 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 blah." Yesterday, I asked him like, no, I didn't ask anything. I was just walking behind him on the desk,
Hmm.
and I saw the small thing like ChatGPT was open. So
Yeah.
less months ago, like sorry, 6 months ago, or less than 6 months ago, it was still something alien to the 80% of society. Let's say in 6 months,
It's
we
insane.
yeah, basically everyone is using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing that is scaring is like the quickness, how fast he
Is
grows and how fast
completely out of control.
and how fast like he keeps people using it somehow. I
Yeah,
don't
hooked.
know if I well explained what I meant. That means like at a certain point I also ask myself, are you going to be stupid and not be able to send an email if you just let this AI doing it for you every day?
That's
Will
another
we?
consideration. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's same as before the GPS.
Ah, okay.
We all knew where to go, or like most of the times we can recognize the roads we drove, or just
Before the
exactly,
smartphones, you
or
would you
asking
would memorize at least
exactly.
10 if not 20 even more telephone numbers. Now I challenge anyone to tell me by heart
I don't even know
telephone number.
mine.
I'm barely know mine, just
So yes, that's the scary part for me. It's like, are we going to get dumb?
are we ended up like
Someday?
the Wall-E? You remember the Wall-E from
Exactly.
Disney? We ended up
Exactly.
like being super fat and floating around with a screen
With a screen,
24/7,
exactly.
not doing anything. Hopefully not.
But obviously, probably the things I'm saying now are the same thing they were saying when they launched the first computer,
Yeah,
the first calculator. So it's always a matter of how you use the tool,
yeah, absolutely,
as you said, obviously, before. But yeah, that's a scary perspective, like a
exactly.
bunch of idiots and zombies
Yeah,
going
there are so
around.
so many angles, right? This is
Yeah.
such a, convoluted topic. What's your take,
Zombie
Claudia?
eye.
What
Zombie eye.
What's your take
Zombie.
about it?
I think it will be implemented as a subject, at universities, for example, AI ethics, because it's something that we often talk about during our weekly community hangouts at NoCodeOps. We often say, okay, when do we cross the line? Where should we stop?
Yep.
And so there's always a little bit of ethic coming into our conversations, and it's not something we should be afraid of. It's something that we should master and put at our best use, optimizing our jobs rather than, I hear people being scared of AI taking over their jobs. Maybe for some of them, possibly, but instead of welcoming that fear, trying to overcome it in a sense that you become so good at using AI that you can find another job as, using that skill. So I'm always trying to look, at how we can use it to optimize our lives rather than letting it take over our lives.
Yeah. And also because even if you complain, nothing will ever change. So you should actually try to do stuff and try to,
Exactly.
leverage these things. I'm so sad we are out of time. I mean, okay, part 2 very soon.
Part 2. We will have
I promise to everyone, there is so much to talk about. But for the time being, thank you so very much for being on the show. That was a pleasure. That was so much fun.
Thank you, Stefano.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, ChatGDG.
ChatGDG will conquer the world. No,
Yes,
probably not.
we will.
We
Yes,
will. All right.
Again.
All right, everyone. Thanks for following us, and see you next time. Bye.